Today, we remember 9/11, the greatest tragedy that has ever taken place in my lifetime on American soil. We remember the police and the firefighters and every first responder who not just gave their lives that day, but gave their lives over these past 20 years. The health problems that have continued over these 20 years have been so awful for these families, and we have to remember the sacrifice they've made, not just that day, but for 20 years. And the families that lost their loved ones that day, they don't have the privilege of just remembering 9/11 once a year. They wake up every day with a reminder of what 9/11 meant and what we lost. And so we used to say we would never forget. A lot of people still say never forget. But it sure feels like a lot of people have forgotten. They've forgotten the common bonds that brought us together as a country. The pride in America. We all were proud to be an American that next day and stand together. Our policy differences didn't matter anymore because we saw our common enemy hated all of us. They hated what we stand for. They hated our freedom. They hated that we had opportunity for all. They hated that we believe in liberty. Most of all, they hated the promise of America. We have a chance to really never forget. And so I would like to remind you today and ask you a question. I want to remind you how proud we should be to be American. I want to remind you of what makes us special. And I want to ask you, how are you going to make sure that you never forget what really matters about not just 9/11, but about being an American? Because we learned a lot of lessons that next day and for days after that. And we can't forget those lessons. Because right now, we sadly have a segment of our country who no longer believes in those ideals, who want to defund the police, who don't believe in the promise of America anymore, who want to teach our kids to hate this country through radical curriculums like CRT. They want to destroy and denigrate everything that Americans of every skin color, of every religion have built together to create this more perfect union. If we want that freedom, we want that vision of greatness to last for our children and grandchildren, we need to make sure that we truly never forget.